Control Alt Destroy right here on Sirius XM Shade 45. I'm telling y'all, man, this is just non-stop superhero action, Justice League business outside. Guy, holy moly. Listen, I am right here, right now, with the phenomenal OG Slick. My guy Slick out here being great in Miami. My brother, I am so happy to finally have you on the show. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to let you speak in a bit. From doing the designer cons, from doing all the things and seeing what you brought to the table for the art space has been special. And now at this level, being appreciated inside this wonderful building at this time. But the young version of OG Slick, man. Come on, man. Before he got to all these wonderful items that we have in front of us, man.
The cocky version?
Yeah, the young homie who had the cornrows with the beads.
I don't even remember that guy.
Bro, those years, man, the early, on the walls, on canvas, whatever it is, man, how special was that you could tell that kid, bro, stay with it.
Right? All right. I mean, yeah, if I could go back up and then there was at any moment if I felt like stopping, which I didn't, yeah, I would definitely tell me now it's worth it. Like, stick it out, B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's been some hard times, you know what I mean? Like, I had my issues and battles with drug addiction, you know what I mean? And thinking you had it all figured out and under control, and I'm just gonna do a little to, to level myself off, or you know what I mean, like to get me focused, or whatever the excuse was I was self-medicating I almost justify the whole like ice and meth phase. I call it the slick ice age. Was due to me like kind of self-medicating. Like I felt it like how kids took Ritalin, to kind of calm them. That's how like the meth used to do me. And it all started out all good, but then of course like anything else,
it's just goes.
You're fooling yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yeah. But yeah. But I had to remind myself at one point that I was creative way before any sort of like getting high or smoking weed and all this shit. So I had to remind myself as a kid, I didn't need all that shit.
Yeah.
I was already a creative, person. So there we are. Now, fast forward 21 years later. Yeah, I'm clean and sober and
arm wrestling people now in the streets. Let's go.
Yes.
So this is what I love. It's not only that you said that, but people could have context of it and knowing that those dark times comes with the trials and tribulations, man. Yeah, I want to ask you a question, bro. The only thing I really I got into some problems, man. With I got locked up, but it was full graffiti, bro.
Oh,
did you? This is how you know Slick's a real one. He literally heard me say that and said, "Oh, dope," with a smile on his face, like, "Yeah, you lost your virginity. Grow up."
Yeah, you took one for the team. You know what I mean? Like,
bro. In New York, it was a thing. We'd be out there in the village, doing the thing. But what was the closest you got into any of that type of action, doing what you loved?
I've been pretty fortunate, like knock on wood, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I've came close a few times, like me and Risky were like hiding in the bushes off the 10 freeway with helicopters looking for us and stuff as we're hitting some freeway spots. But we've been pretty fortunate, and I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah.
One incident in particular, I remember in Honolulu, because I go back all the time because that's where I'm from. I saw there's these barriers around the state capitol, like they're doing remodeling on the state capitol. So they had all these kids do their little, like, oh, from this school, whatever. So they had a statue of Father Damien, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get up. That's a photo moment, so people are gonna take pictures right here. So I started catching tags and throwies and did like a Kikaida character, which is like a Japanese superhero. And I guess the mayor's mansion is across the street. So apparently, the security from the mayor's mansion came running across, telling me, hey, like, stop. So I jumped in the car. My ex, my baby's mom at the time, she steps on the gas. We, almost run dude over, like he's over the hood and shit. Dude, it was crazy, right? And then And then we were like, oh, we're home free and shit. And then when we pop out of the other side of Honolulu, it's, dude, sheriffs and, you know, like all waiting for us.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So I did get taken in. And I guess the reason why they were bugging was because the car that I was in was a police car. And because in Hawaii, I forgot to mention my father's a police officer in Honolulu.
Yeah.
So in Hawaii, they don't have, their patrol cars aren't, their squad cars are their own cars.
Yeah.
So that, you know, they got all the equipment in there. They just throw blue light on the top.
Uh-huh.
So when he went to sleep, I took
Holy
Pops' car.
shit.
So they're like, what the fuck are you doing in a police car, right? So yeah, so that was a big thing. So they ended up, you know, tracing it back to my dad. I didn't want to call my pops and wake him up, you know, to come get me. So yeah, he came to swoop us up, and yeah, they you know, I was pretty fortunate. Sheriffs was like, you know, they're like, how old are you? And I was like, I remember that time I was like 30 years old, you know what I mean? And they're like, you're 30 years old and you're drawing kikaida on the state capitol, you know? I'm like, yeah, that's my shit, you know? And but yeah, but we ended up just getting a slap on the wrist, and you know, like they weren't happy about it, but yeah.
Wow. I want everybody to understand this gentleman right here, wild out, running from the cops in a cop car. It's bonkers, bro.
Yeah, it was wild. Like I didn't really, when I was doing it, I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, and making my pops look bad. You know, like looking bad, I put my family through some shit, you know?
For sure.
He was torn because as much as they wanted me to be an artist, they didn't like the graft illegal aspect of it, you know, which came with the territory, you know? And you know, it's another crazy thing is my pops is from Brooklyn, you know, he was in an orphanage. My grandma had to put him up because they were poor. Like, but he worked his way out of Brooklyn, like, and then, you know, got into military, and I met my mom in Taiwan or whatever. So it's funny because he's like, you know, I worked, you know, my ass off to get us out of there and, you know, bring you to Hawaii and all this shit. And then all you want to do is graffiti and go back to the fucking, like, to Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, and something was pulling me there. I felt like, you know, like, even though I wasn't born there or nothing, but something, you know, maybe it was my Puerto Rican side or whatever, something was pulling me back towards, the Mecca, you know? Like,
wow.
New York. Yeah.
That is so mind-blowing, my brother. You know, you definitely blew my mind. And evolution is beautiful, man, because here we are not only talking about the space yet, but where you go from these canvases, right, which is just street art now. You just hitting them walls, doing your thing. The look of what you did, bro. Of course, the smiley face is something special. That was special.
Yeah, well,
You keep on going. Go. Clear.
Sorry. So
go for it.
The smiley thing. Well, I wasn't trying to own the smiley face. First of all, let's be clear. Like, you know, that was Harvey Ball from, you know, from Boston came up with that shit. But the first time I ever painted a smiley, the irony is, I was at a mural convention in Kobe, Japan, and I was gonna do the two hands drawing each other. You know, the that one. And then the owner was like, that shit, he didn't say that shit, of course, but he was like, he goes, no, too dark. I want something happier. So at a spur of the moment, I was like, is this happy enough, motherfucker? And I did like this happy face, like sketch on the building. I was like, is this happy enough? And he was like, he liked it. Wow. So I told him, go get me a bunch of yellow. It was a spur of the moment thing. And I was like, I'll make the hand painting the smile. And then it caught the eye of the Worcester, you know, of the Worcester. I keep saying it wrong, but
Worcester.
Yeah, Worcester. Right?
Yeah.
So then they wanted it over there because of Harvey Ball. So I ended up doing like a 8-story or 7-story smiley over there.
Wow.
On the Palladium, you know, and they do all kind of concert venues right there. So it's bugged the fuck out because you'll see people performing right there, and you turn around and it's the giant happy face with my hands painting. Oof. So it's more, I don't know if it's so much about the happy face, but it's about the love for me of spray painting and the action of painting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the funny part, it was like a fuck you to him, and it just kind of took off. And now I'm like the smiley guy, which I'm not.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
But usually when I make paintings, I like to base it around kind of what I'm painting, the murals at the time, to kind of like a tie-in. Right? So that's why I was like, as soon as I had like 3 of those under my belt, it's like, oh, I got to have a smiley exhibition, you know?
Wow.
So, I started it way before COVID, and then COVID hit, and then it just changed the dynamic on everything, and I put the project on hold and everything. So it wasn't until earlier this year we're like, no, we're gonna have to bust that smiley. I call it La La Land because Los Angeles, right? So, you know, Slick's living in his own like La La Land, you know? So, and like, so that's what I call that room, like the La La room or La La Land.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's make everything yellow, everything smiley, and now even more so with all the fucked up times and people are feeling despair or you know like unsure about where the country is going. It's not up or down, like it's fucked up. It's all, but the smiley kind of just takes you away for a little bit. You know what I mean? But I'm not trying to take it away from Harvey Ball.
No.
Like
I think you put your level of you know, which I feel is I think it resonates with me more, you know, because it's that grit.
Yeah.
But presented in such a way where it's like digestible, it's non-threatening. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes everything special.
Yeah.
Now, when we talking about I'm a huge collector. Salute to all the collectors out there. And all I want to do is continue elevating these collectible items in our communities, so more people can go out there and collect the likeness of individuals like yourself. And that's what makes this special and why we are right here with some phenomenal items right in front of us, bro. Now
Where you want to start? I mean,
now, first, I want to talk about the LA hands, bro.
Okay, yeah. I wish I had a pair right here, but they're in the case over there.
It's so you know, people understand when you see the fingers, the LA hands. You might have seen a lot of homies run with it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've been out here cooking with it, bro. When that hit, when did you know this is more than just?
Well, it definitely wasn't while I was painting it. You know, we were just doing a production. It was a K2S STM production, and we're just kind of, hey. I was like, hey, let's. My boy in the crew, whatever, was like, hey, throw up some like Ratful right there, like throwing up the LA. You know, it was like one of those things. Like, oh, okay, you know, and then. Yeah, so I you know, I put him with the white T-shirt, wearing the little crochet necklace from jail. He's throwing up the LA. So it wasn't even a Mickey Mouse thing, you know. It was my own character.
Yeah.
It was just part of a production, you know. And we had no idea where it was gonna go, you know, or how far it was gonna go. And then at the time, I was doing a brand called This Is It. So we're like, you know, okay, let's lose the character and just keep the hands kind of thing.
Fire.
And that was when I had Danny Boy from House of May. He was like one of my creative directors when we were doing this. We're like, nah, let's lose the character, just the hands, Slick, like, you know, and that's kind of, the rest was history from there. You know, like people started biting it. Other brands started making the hands do other things or whatever, but. And for the record, I don't own all the hands, okay? Like nobody does. That's why Disney never fucked with me, because you can't own cartoon gloves. I mean, and when they tried, my wife had to check them. We're like, nah, there's Hamburger Helper, there's Krusty the Clown, like there's
gloves.
Bugs Bunny, you know what I mean? Like they're gloves.
Right.
But when you have the gloves throwing up the LA, now you're in my lane. That's my shit.
Let's go.
Yeah. So then you're fucking with my money, right? There, right? But any other hands, like, go ahead, knock yourself the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I love it, man. And now, bro, because you talk about Danny Boy and talking about all the visuals that happen in hip hop, and of course we're celebrating, you know, a lot of greatness here with Say Adams' work around us. You know, what hip hop, you know, things you've worked with, projects.
Well, one of the big ones was. I guess at the time, I just did that battle with Hex, right? And these director cats came down to the battle. It was actually the second battle. It was actually Tom Stern and Alex Winter, who, you know, you guys might know Alex Winter from Bill and Ted's. Yeah, not the Keanu Reeves guy. The other one. Yeah. So they're directors, and they were directing music videos at the time, and they're like, oh, we're doing this video for Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we'd like to, you know, they were so impressed by the Slick Hex battle. They're like, let's have Hex on this wall, and you paint on this wall, and then we'll kind of have you in the video, and then what's that dude from Red Hot Chili Peppers? Anthony or whatever.
Yep.
He's like, it's cool having them in the video for like maybe he didn't want us in the video. He was like, because he was all me.
Yeah,
He's like, they're taking away from my shine. You know what I mean? Because we're in there, and the director's like, no, we need them in there painting and shit.
Fuck yeah.
So that was one of the first projects I did, like commercially, even outside of hip hop.
Yeah.
But hip hop wise, those same directors was like, look, we just got to, Ice Cube just left NWA and is coming out with his own album. So they hit me to do Who's the Mac?
Yeah.
Like, so they wanted that graffiti grit in the video. So yeah, we took them to the National Yard. We just took it over, no permits or whatever. we just did like a whole like huge burner, like, you know, I did like a little pimp character and like a you know, because DJ Pooh was like a pimp in the video and stuff like that. So yeah, we were playing off that, and then I remember never even finishing the car. That it looked like, ended up looking like a hoopty because it wasn't even finished. I was painting until the moment they were gonna film.
Right.
But yeah, that was a fun project. I got to meet Cube and the Lynch Mob, and that was super dope. Like, and I actually loved that music too, because I heard an early version of it. Of a mutual friend was what do you call those guys that get the tape first or whatever?
Yeah, the promo joints.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we heard it before it even dropped.
Wow.
And me and my boy was like, oh shit. Like, yeah.
Especially Ice Cube after NWA.
It was like so fun.
Yeah.
So, and that chicken skin shit, you know. So yeah, I was stoked to be part of that. Yeah. That's, you know.
Wow, man. Guys, we're going to continue on because right here I am with literal gems. Now, bro, we can start right here. Let's start right here.
Well, this one, I you know, me and my wife, we have our own brand. We do the LA Hands, and we do the Love Gloves. We do our own toys. But I was like, let's try this like collaboration thing. Let's give it another try, because it didn't work out. For years, I was actually talking to Medicom. Never happened for years. But this one, my boy Huck G was the art director at Super Plastic at the time. He's like, come on, Slick, let's make it happen. What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do. And we were racking our brains about what we're gonna do. And they had this I believe they call it the Cranky platform that Sket came up with when he was with them. So I called Sket and it's like, hey, yo, they want me to do this, because, you know, it's a small community, so I want to make sure I was right with Sket.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah, so I was like, which I wish more writers had that courtesy to respect each other, you know, like that. And that's another story, you know, because, yeah, some writers went over but that's another story, yeah. But I did call Sket and said, yo, I need your blessing. They're asking me to. He's like, get your paper, make sure all your paper is straight.
Wow.
And he's like, yo, so, and I didn't want to just do a slick can per se. I thought that's kind of cheesy, like putting like, oh, this is a slick can. So at the same time, I was dropping my own spray paint called Bukkake.
Wow.
And I was like, to me, that's more appropriate, because I got my own spray paint coming out. I think Bukkake as a toy, rather than me making a whole Bukkake toy, which I did have sketches for, but I was like, you know, let's do it on the Cranky platform that you guys are already doing, and let's base it on some of my colors that I had.
Sick.
So that's why I got the Love Red, and he's throwing up the Love Hands, and then I got the LA Blue, and these are actual colors in my brand. And it made sense to me. That made sense.
Wow.
So he became the Bukkake can, which means to cover, and this was like the Happy Yellow, because I knew at the time I was doing this Happy Face show. In the back of my mind, like the plan didn't quite come together yet.
Yeah.
But I was like, when I do have my exhibit, few years down, because it takes a few years to develop, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have this room covered in yellow, and so I actually wanted to build a big one like this for the center of the room, but they did some like corporate changes within their camp, whatever. It just never happened.
Yeah.
But that's the Happy Yellow version, and his pose is like Mickey.
Yeah.
Like,
sick.
Hey kids, I'm here. and the happy face is kind of like painted on there with the drips, you know.
Sick.
So yeah, so that's that.
I love it, man. We are inside the Museum of Graffiti, and man, here we go, the Love Gloves. This is special, specific, man. But how big? The hearts, bro. Before we get into this item,
Yes.
the big version, I've seen it in some places.
Yeah. Well, there's an 8-foot version that the museum owns, and then I got a 10-foot version in LA. And I actually did like I think it was like a 20-foot version, like in Shanghai or something like that. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And the crazy part, they just did it for an activation, and then it went away. I was like, I don't even know.
Where's that?
they built it, destroyed it, and it just like came and went. But it was like,
Shit.
yeah, China's crazy
Yes,
like that.
yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so that one's gone. So the biggest one is the 10-footer that we still have.
Yeah.
And I think that one's gonna go to. We're sending it to Doha in a few months for my exhibition up there. Right?
Wow.
But yeah, so since the Museum of Graffiti has the 8-foot version, like we're like, yo, let's do a colorway of this one because I already had the molds, and I was like, let's just do a box redesign, throw some Miami colors on there, which was Allison's idea too. I was like, I was on the fence with the blue and pink, to be honest. You know what I mean? And I was like, if it was up to me, it would have been more of the grays and blacks that we're doing on the wall. But she's like, no, that's the Miami colors. And
It is.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm a team player. I'll go with it. You know what I mean? So I don't try and act like I know everything. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a team effort.
Man, I love it, man. Also the bone marrow, bro.
Yeah.
That little detail right there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because they're cut off, right? So yeah. So yeah.
Genius. Once again, I am right here on SiriusXM Shade 45 with OG Slick, live from Art Basel. Let's get into the action. Bro,
Yo.
Metacom, the bear brick business. Talk to me, bro.
So the whole Metacom thing, I got introduced to Mr. Oka from Metacom maybe 20 years ago, maybe like 18 years, something like that, through a mutual friend like Hikaru from Bounty Hunter.
Fire.
Yeah, so, and he's the man with toys, bounty hunter shit, So he walks me in to meet Mr. Oka, and we've been off and on conversating to try and make something happen since then.
Yeah.
Never happened. It just because of either the stuff I wanted to do, they weren't feeling, or like they didn't go with their program, and then I could do this, I couldn't do that. And at the time, they're like, you can't put the LA Hands on there because their relationship with Disney, so they felt it was a conflict of interest, They did a lot of licensing with Disney. But over the years, that went away. But yeah, for whatever reason, that's my wife pinging me.
Salute to
Look,
to the lady.
She's like, where the fuck
Come
you at?
on, B, stop playing. I get it. I understand.
Can somebody text her and tell her I'm in the middle? Maybe.
Look at this. He said, come on, fam. We're right here, right now. OG Slick, real life is happening.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good, bro. Continue
exactly.
on.
Real life. Yeah, no, she's making sure I'm right on time. She's like, why aren't you out there finishing your fucking funeral?
Let's go.
Yeah, we got to get. So back to the Metacom story. So, for whatever reason over the years, it just did not happen. Like, no matter what I submitted, they weren't feeling. And then I was like, I need the 1,000%.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you have to do the 100 to the 4. I was like, no, but I would need the 1,000. Like, so that's always been a reason why I haven't done it too, because they never agreed to do my 1,000, right? Plus they had cause in their pocket, so they weren't really checking for me at the time, whatever. So whatever, you know what I mean? So fast forward a few years later, then Extra Large walks me in and say, yo, Slick, because I'm tight with Shin from Extra Large. He's like, we got to do Extra Large bear brick, but then we had our issues because I didn't want to put Extra Large right on the chest. And then I had this dope idea. I was like, was me inside of a gorilla costume, because the old school gorilla costume. And then Metacom was like, no, you can't make a suit. And I was like, well, this company made a suit, this guy. But you can't call them out on their own shit. You know what I mean? But I was like, but they bend it too.
Yeah, I love how you get it all.
Yeah,
I love it.
But I'm like, dude, this guy has a suit. And then they're like, well, you can't put your face on the bear brick. I was like, well, you got this nigga right here with his face on it. But I guess I'm not that nigga. You ain't dead. Like basically you ain't Warhol, right? And I'm just like,
right.
No,
Facts.
You're not. But I'm Slick. I need my face on the bear brick, and I want the suit on there. And they're like, nah. So then I threw that to the wayside again. So we kept going back and forth like that. And then but that one was dope with me with the suit. And then when you took off the suit, I was just wearing like some white underwear, like the short kind with the little Fruit of the Loom joint.
Yeah.
With the extra.
Wildin'.
Dude, it was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that would have been a classic. But whatever, they weren't feeling it. So I said, whatever, I'm just gonna make my own toys, whatever. So fast forward another few years, and then Ben and them were doing the decon, and they're like, Slick, we can get you the bear brick, we can make it happen. And I'm just like, at that point I was so over it,
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'll give it another chance, a try. So we threw around some ideas, and at the time I was working on the Happy Room and all these slap sort of I took it back to old school, like slaps and collages.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that came about. And it's funny because some of these slaps, like there's one in particular, the Japanese one, I think it says OG Slick in Japanese. And in Japanese, like OG-san is like the wise uncle. So like over the years, it's been so long. Now I'm the fucking wise uncle. You know, I'm the OG-san. You know.
Yeah.
And the whole mask thing came about because at all my latest happy exhibitions, I make masks for my guests that come to the show, and I want them to wear the mask and have the experience, and they can take home something. And I love toys and I love masks. So I was like, you know what? Let's make a mask for the little bear brick, right? And you know. But I couldn't run it by Ben and them because they had such a tight relationship with Metacom, and they're like, they're never gonna go for it. They trip when artists do like their own bear brick shirt or bear brick. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make it and ask for forgiveness. You know what I mean? Like, and it was a hit. When at the show, everybody wanted the mask, right?
The
like
rebel.
It was like a secret, like oh. If I buy the bear brick, I can go to Slick's booth and they'll give you a free mask and they'll stamp your box. So like, I guess from the outside, the other people thought it was kind of like a game or something.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. And at the end of the day, even the people from Metacom Bear Brick were asking for masks for their, you know what I mean? And to me, I was just trying to add on to the release. You know what I mean? I just wanted it to be special. That's all. And
Bro, absolutely special.